All right. So I guess I get on to the next part. So yeah, I was just talking about how I got peace. I feel like I got peace. I feel like one with everything, all this stuff. And then I started to just feel like I'm like I'm one with everything. God is with me. Uh, God and the universe is guiding me now. All this stuff, and I'm sure the path forward God, the universe has for me will have challenges, of course, but it is what is supposed to be, and what is will happen, so on and so forth. Just a complete surrender to the process completely. Um, so after I got this peace, I experienced like really nice peace for several days. I felt like I was free from thinking about her constantly, all this stuff. I felt like I finally have freedom and my mind is back and, well, how did I say not back? I just felt free. That's the best way to say it. I just felt free, liberated, all this stuff. And then magically, after 2 days of peace, I felt like I'm probably not done yet. I don't think I don't think I'm there yet. And like divine timing out of nowhere, someone I've talked to, waved to a million times before, um, decided to just talk with him more all of a sudden. And like as soon as I just got back there, I just decided to just talk with him more and just open up like never before, out of nowhere. Just my intuition. And it seems like he also kind of went through this entire process himself. This whole awakening thing, finding peace, using all the exact words I was saying, samadhi, all these things, even the ego death. He gone through it. What's the chances of that? I went through this whole entire process. I've talked to this person a million times, thousands of times. And then I decided today I'm going to talk to him a bit more. And he's gone through this whole process himself. Read books, all this. I just felt like it was. That's what I want to say. When you start to surrender to God and all this, and you stop using this, the thinking too much, and just go with the process and start going with here, things just unfold. And it unfolded like that at the exact time I needed it. And when I talked to him, he told me his process and what is in store for me next. And basically, he said, your ego will come back. There will be stuff that you will have to tackle. There will be more emotions to deal with. There's a bunch of past stuff you have not dealt with, of course. And yeah, he's right. And then I started to go through all that stuff very quickly. All these old traumas. I went through them, and I was like, when I was like going through them, and then so this process is kind of called it's called like shadow work or something. Basically, you go back to these old things that you always bring up in your mind, these bad things that have happened, these bad experiences maybe with people or stuff, and you rationalize why it happened, why you did what you did or didn't do. Forgiveness for yourself, or of course owning up to whatever you did if it was wrong. And then of course other things too, of like accepting who you were at that point and accepting of, how it was. And more so also that there wasn't anything necessarily wrong with you either at that time, exactly when these traumas happened. But it just it's hard to say. Sometimes there could be something wrong, but at the same time not wrong, because you have to forgive yourself and you have to accept what you were at the current time in the circumstance and the decisions you made or didn't make, or things that happened to you and maybe you had no control really over the time. And in this case, a lot of stuff, you have to go back to your childhood, to your parents, all these things like that. And in my case, like my twin flame, we both have a very similar mother. A mother that was just always miserable, always unhappy, always making the kid feel inadequate at all times. And in my case with my mother, I just felt like as a child that my responsibility was her happiness. That's really not a good mentality to have as a child. And that's what led to a lot of my things, how I kept leaping into these relationships to save somebody, because I was always trying to save my mother, because my mother was miserable. And then I find these other women which are also miserable, unhappy with themselves. And it just came from a deep trauma. And that's what led me to do what I did. Why it led to my marriage with this woman I tried to save. And then, of course, with her again. So that was just one such example. There's other experiences I don't necessarily have to share here. But there was a lot of dark experiences to share. But that was a very important core one that led to a lot of problems in my life, and likely led to me feeling that I was never enough. And I always needed something else, somebody else. In the case that my mother there. And I already did my tears for this and all this stuff. And I also, when you're going through this process, for me, I was retching going through this shadow work. I was like coughing loudly. It was as if all this stuff was leaving my body. It's really weird. And it's not even painful either. Like, you feel like you're going to throw up, but nothing ever comes out in that way. But it feels like maybe a lot of bad things come out from you. And it's so weird to explain this too. Just naturally feeling like you need to gag after going through such intense emotions is, I don't know what other way to put it, but it's just so weird to have that gagging feeling when going through it all. So yeah, it was this perfect timing meeting him and learning about this shadow work I need to do at that exact timing. And now it's a regular thing I do in everyday life. When I start feeling uncomfortable I start feeling bad about a situation, I need to slow down, realize where these emotions are coming from. Of course, it's important to feel these negative emotions, but it's also important to realize why they come up, why you start feeling inadequate, why you start having doubt in yourself, why you're having these negative feelings, because that is to be human, of course. To be human, you're always going to be a mixed bag of emotions, thoughts, all these things. And it's a big thing too, thoughts. One thing you learn going through this whole process is these thoughts enslave you. These thoughts enslave you so much, and you need to stop thinking. It sounds stupid, but no, you still think. There's times, of course, when you can do critical thinking on certain subject matters. But when it comes to a lot of things in life, things should just come from here for the most part, and don't overthink it. Just go with your intuition. The thought, becoming a slave to thought, is what creates a lot of my misery. It creates a lot of people's misery. Always thinking of the exact situation to say to this person at this exact time, to maybe get this emotion from them, to get this thing from them. All this whole process, this little sneaky thoughts, all this stuff. Always just thinking with your head of how to get a result. But when you start surrendering, you start believing in here more. You start thinking less in here of what is the right thing to say at the right time. And it feels very liberating to have that. And that's the biggest takeaway, one of the biggest takeaways in all of this. When you start finding the peace, you really start listening to hear instead. And you just stop thinking. I know some of you are not going to understand that concept. For the most part, all of our lives, we're taught to think things through, all this stuff. And that's how we live. But for the most part, it hasn't really made us happy, or not really real happiness. I mean, now I understand what is real happiness, because what's going on up here, you're not really thinking about necessarily what you want. You're thinking of what is the best outcome in my favor, things like that. You don't really think of what you really want. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is to live a fulfilling life, a life that you could be proud of at the end of the day for the decisions you made. And I don't know. I think back now, even with her, at the time when I was just so frustrated with her, and I was just thinking of all the right things to say, for abandoning me, leaving me in the cold. And yeah, I said the things that triggered her. She knows what she did, and I knew what to say. Yeah, I got the reaction I wanted, I guess. Am I happy with the results? No. She definitely felt it. But That's what I learned. That's what I learned through this whole process. What did that thinking do me? What did that provide me? Thinking that way didn't do anything. Really, it didn't make me any happier. It made someone unhappier. It made someone more miserable. She even said she felt suicidal after what I said. And all I thought at the time is how much she hurt me. And I didn't necessarily say anything directly harmful to her. Just her actions and mostly the truth. I mostly just said the truth. And yeah, and obviously the person she left me for is obviously not better than me. And yeah, she just grabbed what she could at the time. And that's why I understand why she ran like she did. There's a lot of miscommunication. I know she made her bed now with what she got. And yeah, of course I feel bad for what I said, but at the time, I don't know, I felt somewhat justified, but there was no reason for it. That's what happens when you start using up here. Yeah, I got what I wanted, I guess. Was I what I wanted? No, not really. You need to say what's like from here. And it's something really important to learn. And that's the biggest thing through all of this. The two big main things. To really follow here, and of course just whatever God has in store for you forward, and just go with the flow. I'm going with the flow right now, making this video. For whatever reason, I felt like, yeah, I do this now. I don't know, no real thinking going on here. It just occurred naturally to do it. So, yeah, I guess that was the next step in everything I was doing. And I know that perfect timing, but now, yeah, now I guess I found my peace. And now when those emotions stuff come out, I have the tools ready for it. And it came at the exact time. And every day now, it just feels like every day is another learning process for me. Sometimes it's just a learning process here with the dog. One day it was like, one thing I needed to learn is like, there's no rush. There is no finish line. You know, it happens when it happens. That's why I need to stop watching the tarot videos thinking something is going to happen. What's going to happen in these days and this day? It's not important. Well, I learned from the dog over here that I'm petting. Sometimes she just wanted to stand still. And the wind is blowing. And she just stands there in the breeze. Not going at point A to point B. Just living in the moment. And I saw that in the dog here. There was this moments like, no, she's not thinking about going to here and smelling something there. No. Sometimes she just stands still and just wants to take it all in. That's something I wasn't doing. So yeah, one day. So yeah. some days, I mean, that's really something I needed to learn also in this process. It happens when it happens. And at the same time, accept that maybe things are not going to happen. And in my case, accept that I don't care if I'm connected or reunited with my twin flame in that way, because the true goal is self-love. I need to realize that the end goal is not her. The end goal is me. And don't get me wrong, I love her. I'll always love her. But she's not my goal. She is not my goal. I am the goal. And I wish her the best. And I'll always love her, but I am the goal. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not really about getting her back or anything like that, or even caring if she comes back to me. It's just about me and myself, loving myself. And I need to realize that. I love her so much, but I need to love myself more. It's the reality. And I'm not a Superman. I'm not a Superman anymore. I'm not a Superman for anyone anymore. I'm just for myself. And of course, I will have love for everyone. I have compassion for everyone. I would help if I feel it's good to help. But I won't reach out of bounds, go over boundaries, and start to go against my own self and what I think I should have and what I shouldn't have in my life. And that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned now. Cutting out a lot of these things in my life I don't need. All these people I don't need. All these people that are not helping me. Only bringing me down. And surround myself with the right people. And she might not be that right person at all. She probably isn't right now. If she just rushes back to me right now, she likely isn't ready for me, and there is no rush. She needs to come at the right time, or if at all. Like I said, I'm not waiting anymore. That's the biggest thing in this, just not waiting anymore. Not waiting for her to return, not any of this stuff. Just full acceptance of the process. Things happen when they happen. But yeah, that was a pretty deep subject matter to get into. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, so on and so forth. It's been fun. It's been fun making these videos, but I think I'm good for now. It's probably my last one for now. But yeah, later.